Two live.
You're now watching two old farts making noises.
Joe, do you want to know why some businesses succeed and some businesses fail? Why some businesses grow and some businesses don't? That's what this show is all about. Business, business, business. Happy Saturday.
Yes, happy Saturday. Welcome back to the Lost Dollar Business Club. Hello, everybody.
How you
Hello,
doing? Look
hello.
at David. Look at David's background. Look at you, the Rainbow
I think
Coalition.
David's got a great
Yeah.
new background every single time.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
It's like the Lollipop Kids from The Wizard of Oz.
yeah. Well, they're bubbles. You know, we had this conversation yesterday, I think, about being, it's drug induced. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
LSD. Are you gonna be like Don Ho and sing Tiny Bubbles? Never mind.
I've never heard
Too
of
hip.
that.
Too hip.
Yeah.
Don Ho.
Well, that's it.
Don't-
Steve's too hip for it. That's right.
Too hip. You guys know who Don Ho is?
No.
No.
Oh
No.
my God. He was in this. You guys are 60s, 70s, and 80s. He was a very popular Hawaiian
There you
singer.
go. We're
And he
all
sang
dead.
a song called Tiny Bubbles. That was his claim to fame.
Wow.
I can't believe you guys aren't that hip. You guys are all friggin' old. Jesus
I'll
Christ.
tell you what, Steve.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Stephen. You're so laid back. It's a wonder your ass doesn't fall off. You know what I mean? So,
Look at
That is quite a
David's got
wonder.
one-liners.
Quite a
we're
wonder.
not there today. We're not there
Okay,
today.
so Michael, what are we going to talk about today, other than my
As
tuchus falling off?
we've talked a lot about how the U.S. is failing compared to China and how multinational corporations have drawn out all the money from middle America and sent it overseas. Well, we're going to focus a little bit on China's dream sputtering, at least according to the BBC, where they've posted a couple articles in anticipation of Xi Jinping meeting with Biden about how businesses are pulling money out of China, and the Chinese dream is maybe faltering in some way. And John, you've probably got a lot to say about this too. And
He
so,
loves China.
loves it. And then and we'll also talk about break out some reveals about how web browsing data really does expose very sensitive professions and can be jeopardizing national security.
Woohoo! Something
Yeah.
to look forward to. Oh, this is going to be a great show.
Get the freedom and the flexibility of remote work in the lucrative tech industry. Bend your life around the world. Bandicoot is the premier course and community for thriving in a remote tech career. Join the revolution today. Bandicoot.com, official partner of the Lost Dollar Business Club. All
There
right.
we go. And coming up, we have a special commercial coming up. David, when do you want to run that a little bit later in the show?
Well, not only a special commercial, which I'm looking forward to because this is a surprise even to me for sure, but we've got on our November 25th show, the next show, we've got Aaron Day talking about central bank digital currencies and how risky they are for a lot of reasons, including privacy and personal autonomy of your digital dollar. And coming up on the 27th of November, we have a dominatrix on 20F Classic Interviews that will be interviewing. That we asked all the shows, anybody who wanted to come and have this lady on their show, and everyone backed out. So David and I are doing it, and now everybody wants to be part of that interview, but not on their show. So we're going to be doing that. So that'll be an interesting thing, and it's not a sexual thing; it's a transfer of power thing. So a lot of guys on Wall Street, I know.
So it's a bit like China and the UK and the US.
No, it's more like marriage. So, but yeah, I think that'll be a fun show. So,
you may have Nusha.
Nusha's going to dress up. She said. And I said, you better check that with Michael. But sure. So, that I would say if I were you, nice mug by the way. If I were you, I would not be home Monday.
just in case. But very cool. And
I
Michael's
might
using
wake
his.
up to a dominatrix. All right.
There you
well,
go. Michael's using his
I-
Lost Dollar Business Club merch mug
That's
this
right.
morning, and the
Yeah.
merch you guys
We
can
do,
get.
we do encourage the merch.
There you go. Look at
Yeah.
that. You guys can get a Lost Dollar Business Club mug if you'd like.
We
Very
highly
nice.
encourage the merch.
Talking of embarrassing moments.
Yeah.
Were you just not? I mean, it's not that I'm particularly for or against anybody in the U.S. government, but watching poor Joe Biden walking down a garden path with the Chinese premier was just bordering on the line of being slightly embarrassing, because he looked like he could hardly walk. The gentleman. I'm sure his faculties are all there, but his legs seem to have gone.
Remember,
So-
Roosevelt was in a wheelchair and he ran the country from a wheelchair. You don't have to be able to walk. You have to have a Kepler, right? You got to be able to think.
Oh, right.
So I don't care if you can't
what-
walk. I need you to think. So,
Okay.
and I don't know if
That's-
Biden to me now is getting like Reagan, where he's starting to tell stories that are coming out of movies, because he started to tell where he was in a Jeep and he was on an island and there were dinosaurs. I've seen that movie where Reagan would say he was on a ship, a battleship, and he would tell this great story. And the 60 Minutes did this thing, and it was a movie that he was in. And it's like, Ronnie, no, that's not real life, right? So as much as I like Joe Biden,
No.
I think that the Democrats need to find someone younger. I would do it, but then I'm not
Right.
allowed to use the F, the C word, and a whole bunch of other things that I do. And apparently that's all frowned upon. I think the Republicans need to find someone that's not a Nazi, and I think that would be good.
You need to
So,
find someone.
we'll see.
You need to find somebody who speaks Chinese, I think, because the Chinese were just they were like, oh, he's going to the US because they're our friends now, and
No, they're not.
we're all gonna have dinner together, and we're
Right.
gonna do this
That's
and
the
we're gonna do
illusion.
that. Oh, we'll go to Silicon Valley and hang out with the kids. Yeah, what was all that about? What was all that about? Honestly. I mean,
Listen.
the US propaganda, Chinese propaganda, they're all over it, like a cheap.
Well,
just-
I mean,
let
don't
me-
you think it's in both countries' interest to say that they're working together? I mean, the trade connection is just unbelievable. And even though
John doesn't agree with that, Michael. John
That's
doesn't
true.
agree with that.
But before
Let me
John
say
goes
that.
off on a tirade,
Yeah, let's-
which he will, in the Financial Times, when you read about the meeting and the first article the other day before Panda got here, it was sort of like, oh my God, it's the U.S. and this, it's terrible, and this, it was just like, oh, it was the worst thing in the world. And today's article is like, they're holding hands and they're skipping through the flower bed together and they're madly in love, and I'm like, let's calm down. Like we've seen these movies before. Let's just have a cordial. Let's have a cordial relationship.
Not everybody's seen these movies before. We do have some younger viewers on this show, and it's
Then
still
read a
new
book.
it's still new to a lot. Yeah.
Read a history book then.
No,
I mean, come on.
They don't need to, Stephen, because they need to just listen to the Lost Dollar Business Club, and
That's right. They need to
Never mind.
listen to
What was I
it will
thinking?
get, we'll get them all interested in.
Go on.
So,
Tell us about the evils of China.
I don't know.
So, John,
what can you say?
John, I'll ask you. May I ask you, John? Why did he come then? Why did?
Because he was breathing heavy.
Yeah, well,
Why
apart
did he-
from that.
Why did he come?
Why did he go to the US?
Why did
What's
he
all
come?
that
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think because the U.S.
I get a
really
good
wanted
answer, or?
to talk to them. Yeah, I think that China wants. Well, I would say the U.S. wanted the meeting more than China. They want to reestablish direct contact with the Chinese military, so that the Chinese don't all of a sudden launch a nuclear warhead at Taiwan or something. So I think that's what the U.S. really wanted, because the Chinese don't care. I mean, I think their behavior is pretty obvious. You see all these little military incidents, so in Taiwan, that they're really pushing the envelope. So I don't think they really care. I think the U.S. really wanted this meeting, and
Let me ask you this though, John. What do you think about the likelihood on a scale to 1 to 10, or a scale to 1 to obliviation, that China would really nuke Taiwan? knowing
No,
what
they
that would
probably
do to the
wouldn't.
world?
Yeah,
They're not
they
going to
probably
nuke it.
wouldn't.
They're not going to.
But
Would they
They're
invade it
just
though?
going
Do
to.
you think they would
Yeah,
invade it?
they'd
I think
invade
they're
at one
eventually going to
lunchtime
have
when
to.
nobody was looking.
One at a time, guys. One at a time. So would
I
they?
think
You think they would invade it?
no. I think at this stage maybe they would invade it, but I think maybe the Chinese, Taiwanese might rejoin China on their own. I think there's a new party or coalition in Taiwan
Right.
that is very pro China, and I think they could be winning the next election. So
So they go
Yeah,
the way
it's
of
a good.
Hong Kong then.
that just started happening, right? The what is it? The blue-white coalition I'm seeing. Is that what you're
Mhm.
referring to?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, so maybe they've infiltrated enough, or they've convinced a lot of people, or they've spread a lot of money to tell them that, hey, it's your destiny to join us, and we're going to take care of you. I don't know what they've said to them, but there's a
Mm.
good chunk of the population that
Oh,
seems to be
would it
willing
be
to join.
would it be such a bad idea then, if they feel culturally more attached? I mean,
The
Taiwan is
Taiwanese
only
people would be.
Well,
Taiwan is, or what used to be called Formosa when I was at school, um, has a strategic importance more to the US than it does to China.
Whoa, I don't know if that's entirely true. I mean, China needs to keep Taiwan under its umbrella. I mean, with all of
Right.
its, we've talked about this on the show before, the semiconductor technology. I mean, it's still got to be under the umbrella of China.
But the problem,
yeah,
though, is that most Taiwanese don't want to go. They don't want to be under the umbrella of China because they actually read a history book and they saw what happened in Hong
That's
Kong.
right.
So you're going to lose if you look at what's going on in China now. Forgetting U.S. companies are kind of waking up and going, "Oh, we're going to pull our money and all this other crap," which they'll be back and they won't tell anybody because they're all whores, right? But if you look at what happened to the head of Tencent, and you look at Baidu and all these guys, they're all going away. Like the head of Tencent hasn't been seen since I think it's the beginning of October. It was kind of like
He's
Jack
on
Ma,
holiday
Jack
he's on holiday
with
with
probably,
the
but Jack
Yeah,
generals,
yeah.
Ma
with a couple of
a couple
generals.
years ago, if you remember, Jack Ma was saying he was bigger than the party. He was bigger than China, so to speak, at a speech, not in those exact words, but alluding to it. And a week later, nobody saw Jack Ma for about almost 6 months, a year.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
now Jack
yeah,
Ma says absolutely nothing. Right? He's making no speeches, no whatever. He's just like, they're like, well, you can keep your billions, just shut up. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay. So I don't know what the
Well,
guy at
and know
Tencent
his
did.
place. You know.
Right. But I don't know what the guy at Tencent did, but he's not around. And I'm sure he'll reappear after the first of the year and it'll be whatever. But I also know with Alibaba, when they were going to go public with, Alipay and all these other companies, the Chinese government stepped in and went like, whoa, 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 whoa. They got more stock, they got more this, they pulled some of their IPOs back. So, being under their umbrella is probably not the best thing. And I don't see semiconductor companies in Taiwan or Taiwanese people. And the ones that I know, if you say this to them, they'll have a heart attack and turn red and they'll explode. They're like, no, and they'll give you a list of why. So I think the white and blue party is very interesting, but I don't know if they're going to speak for the population. And I'm not sure how that's going to play out because in Taiwan, they have no problems having riots. You know what I mean? Like the public there has no problem uprising. So I don't know how long they would be in power. And I don't know how the Taiwanese military would feel about that. Forgetting the US and all the BS that we do with, like we do in Africa and everywhere else, trying to make everything wonderful. But I'm not sure how that would play with the population or the military if they go, we're going to do a deal with China. I don't think that would go over well.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
from what I've read.
there's definitely I mean, there's one of the big aspects that the BBC emphasizes, that lots of these articles have emphasized, is that the younger generation in China, youth unemployment is so high that a lot of young Chinese have just given up, or they're
Yeah.
totally convinced that they need to leave the country. That's a big problem for the demographics, which already has trouble keeping people with an aging population, and it's a primarily male population because of the one-child policy. So, the demographics, I think, is what you're pointing at, Stephen, is the demographic shift of the country is going to not be able to support it. So I don't know. What do you think, John?
Look,
That is correct.
Yeah, they got a somewhat demographic problem, but a good chunk of the world, has that issue, right? Europe has
True.
it.
Yeah.
The U.S. has it, but we don't see it because we have immigration that sort of counteracts that trend. So without immigration, we would have we'd have the demographic issue also. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not convinced that that's a huge issue for them to go and do something in Taiwan. But
yeah.
Well, they keep talking about it because they go back to 5,000 years ago when it was part of them, right? And you're like, you should still. And people in Taiwan are like, yeah, we're good. It would be kind of like the people in the UK coming over and going, listen, you were part of us, like that you're going. We want you back. It would be the same. It's the same type of thing,
No, we don't want you back.
We don't want to come back, so it works out well. But the Chinese, they don't forget, right? They work on 1,000-year timelines. So for them, this is a slow burn. It's the same when they got Hong Kong, right? It's like, that's a slow burn. We're good. No, you can have it for 100 years. We'll be back. So, and I think the crackdown with the young Chinese people going, we can't get a job. We go to university. We do this. We do that. A lot of them are trying to come to the United States and work here because they see this as a land of opportunity. When we were in Dubai, we met tons of them that just graduated university that are starting companies there because they feel there's more of an opportunity, and China is becoming too much of an authoritarian state.
Well, the economic pressure is one thing. I mean, that's true, but I think you're pointing to the big issue, which is that authoritarian state is obviously causing a lot of businesses even to say, do we really want to do business there? I mean, it's not just, of course, I agree with you that for the most part, they're just going to say it's all about the economics, but certainly the authoritarian aspect to it is creates uncertainty anyway in what they're going to.
Apart from when you get the phone call that says, "Excuse me, can we sell your product in China?" In which case, yes, I'll say, okay, well, all right, then,
but here's going to be the problem. At some point, China may become like South Africa, where if you do business in South Africa, it's hard to get money out. You know what I mean? Like you have to leave so much money, and like if you have to go through the central, it's a process. Like you need someone that their job is just to deal with getting money out of South Africa. If you're just say a U.S. or European country, right? Because they want it in for infrastructure and whatever. At some point, I think China is going to be like, no, I think we're just going to leave it here. You know, I mean, if you take X%
out, prevent foreign outflows.
At some point,
that was the case anyway. That they really. That it's very difficult to get money out of China. Once you put it in, it's very difficult to get it out.
No, companies still get their money out, but I think it's going to be over the next few years, depending on what happens this week in San Francisco or what happens with the next election. I think you're going to find it for U.S. companies, if certain people get elected next term, I think it's going to be China's going to crush them. I see the U.S. companies like, no. Like you can get 5% of your money or 10%. Right now, I think it's the process. It's like you fill out a form, you explain, but they understand this. But they also understand if they let you take your money out of the country, that I will bring money back into the country. And John will bring a new company, not John per se, but John will bring a new company into China. And he'll, you know what I mean? So there's a positive to that. What you don't want is people going to like some business conference where you're talking about, oh, what countries do we want to be in? And the first thing out of the mouth is when you mention a country, yeah, but it's tough to get money out. That's the problem with South Africa, right? So there's certain countries, right? You don't want to hear that. You want to hear, all you want to hear is, oh man, it's easy to do business, money in, money out, blah, 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 love it. So where like a Dubai or UAE is smart and Qatar is smart, they're like, hey, bring it in, bring it out. We don't care, right? Develop. So China, as much as they want to be an authoritarian and do this other thing, if they want to still take over the world, which is their goal in 2050, they're going to have to kind of revamp their whole economic mindset and the authoritarian look of their country. You have to let people
Yeah,
perceive,
but that doesn't.
like we do in America, that we have freedom, even though we don't. I mean, it's going to have to be the same type of thing. And if they don't do that, that's when you get the world doing what they're doing. Listen, they're still going to do their economic
Isn't that the same argument though that,
blackmail.
that we've tried to make for decades, saying that China would reform and
No, I've never said they'd reform. I always knew they're going to be China. I read history books. Are you
Right.
kidding? They've never been like anyone who ever thought that they were going to reform when Mao died, and then you have Deng Xiaoping and everybody since then, and Xi today. As much as I make fun of him, he's very smart. He knows
Oh,
what
yeah.
he's doing. He's playing from the Mao playbook with a capitalist twist. The only thing he's not doing, in my opinion, proper is he's coming down with the big hammer, and he's doing it kind of publicly. You kind of need to do that privately, like they do in Singapore. You know, he's done the economic blackmail to Australia when they did something they didn't like. He's got his Belt and Road. Like, they're very smart. He's very smart at what he's doing. I think, though, but if you want to be a power and you want your currency to be used, you have to give the illusion that you're us. Right? Oh, we're a democracy. Don't worry about we're nothing. We're squat, right? We control everybody in America. You pretty much are sheep, and you know it. In China, just they tell you you're sheep and you're going to do what we say. So when something
right,
happens,
it's no
they just
illusion
need
of
to,
free will.
correct. They just need a better PR firm. They need one out of New York or London or wherever, right? That's like, hey, this movie star ran over a kid, but it wasn't the movie star's fault, even though he ran over him 12 times. It was the kid's fault, kept getting in the way of the car. That's the PR firm that China needs for the world to go, oh, they're wonderful. But in the back, you have to know what they really are. And I think
Well,
when
that's
you
the
do
thing.
business,
I mean, if enough people read the history books, then the illusion will not be able to be sustained. So,
but you know what China knows? People are sheep on a global level. People don't read. They only look at TikTok and Instagram, apparently. So they don't know. And even the people listening or watching our show are going to be like, well, that's wrong. Okay, well, then go read a history book.
well,
And you
yeah,
know they
look
won't.
at exactly. Look at the history.
Yeah. So there you go.
Or read Ray Dalio's book, The Changing World Order. It's very interesting. He looks at 6,000 years of empire building, empires coming and going, and there's a lot of
Read the
indicators.
book of the world. You can read the book of the world. It's all there. It's like the whole history of the world is in 1,200 pages. It's all right there. It's not that difficult. So there's also a book that deals with China from like about 1000 CE to about 1416, where they ruled the sea. And it's a fascinating history. I can't remember the name. I wish I could. But it talks about General Zhao and all this. It was fat. And at about 14, 15, or 16, the emperor was like, we've seen everything. We've done enough. And they literally just closed the country until the 1800s, you know, and it was interesting.
Well, if we're talking about recommending books, about the thing that that links China and the US and the old British Empire. I just finished reading a book called The World of Sugar, which is highly recommended. Find out on Amazon. It's a real eye opener. It's a book about how sugar changed the world we live in. So, and
still is creating wonderful health problems all across the U.S.
Thank God.
Yeah.
All my pharma stocks keep going up.
Oh,
anyway,
right.
David, why don't you play the special commercial now?
Yes, we have a special commercial. So for
the holidays.
For the holidays, and this has been I was asked to do this by the Stephen Fan Club. So all I can say is, all you Stephen fans, sit back and enjoy this one.
Hey everybody, this is Steve with Two Old Farts Making Noises, part of TOF Entertainment channel. We know you're watching, and we know you love us, and we greatly appreciate it. However, in the month of December, we're going to do something that's totally unheard of on YouTube. If you want to advertise on one of our shows, we'll let you do a 10-second commercial for free. Reach out to us here on our channel. Tell us what commercial you'd like to run. Tell us what your product is. Of course, we have final say. No sin stock products, if you will. Well, maybe a couple. Anyway, but if you want to advertise for free in the month of December, we will give you a 10-second spot on any one of our shows. So we look forward to hearing from you. Also, thanks for watching. Have a great holiday.
There you go.
Big news, gentlemen. Big
That is
news.
big news. So we're going to see. We're going to see if any advertisers want to put ads on any of our show for
We're
free.
going to see which advertisers will come out of the woodwork.
I'm hoping
say,
it's the dildo company that they've got in Amsterdam that David keeps touting. What's it called, David?
As long as
Easy Toys.
Easy Toy. That's the one I want. Yeah, I'm hoping for Easy Toy.
That's definitely valid.
I sent you guys an update about the Tom Puss, the one that's done with the croissant. I read another piece about that this morning as well. It would appear that the person who says that they've invented this croissant, which is turned into a Tom Puss, this sort of bastard food, I suppose, for want of a better word, they have no hope in hell of trademarking it because. Yeah, you can't trademark a croissant, it would seem. So
that's too funny.
They've tried though. They've tried, and they continue to send cease and desist.
He said continue to send out all these letters to all these other bakers that have this croissant which has been cut in half, and it's got this pink glaze on it, and it looks exactly the same as a Tom Puss, only it's a croissant. So there you go.
Croissant.
Yeah, very nice. All right, well, let's talk about something that'll scare everybody. Let's talk about data mining and
it should. I mean,
China scares us, but we beat China to death. So let's talk about something we don't normally talk about, which is data mining. And there was an article that I sent around to our group from the Economist that talked about
Financial Times.
Financial Times. Sorry, the FT. I know. I keep forgetting. Right? And why they don't sponsor us, I don't know. But anyway, the Financial Times had an article that talked about you really don't know what data people are taking from you when you go to their site and this and that. And this article went through a whole bunch of stuff, which literally scared the bejesus. I'm like, really? So,
well, I mean, it's a good point because you know that when you're traveling on the internet, you are segmented into many different segments to figure out what ads should be sent to you. So where you live, what you do, who you talk to, what you search about. But the thing is, this is getting really, really granular. So it's segmenting judges and elected officials and military personnel and national security decision makers. So the refinement is getting so refined that the argument by this by the Irish, what was it? The Irish, one of the this Irish Council of Civil Liberties,
and it's Irish, so you really can't take what they say seriously. They were probably drunk when they wrote this, so.
But it's a nonprofit, so you know they've got that going for them. So
there you go.
But I mean the thing is, they are revealing that these segmentations can actually create national security issues, can create anybody who gets this data can actually know and de-anonymize and figure out who you are and what you're saying and what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
they're late to the party on that one, aren't they? I mean, come on.
Well, right. But now you do it with advertising data. So it's not just, of course, the NSA is always watching, but
I mean, Facebook have been doing it from the get-go. If not, I mean, that's the whole business model. It's just
well, also Google's been doing it from the get-go, and Yahoo and all of them.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's a bit like they're rummaging through your dustbin.
It's just metadata, which is the usual line that they say. It's just metadata with no personal data. But the truth is that with three or more metadata points, they can identify you. So it's just it's just a cover. It's not a cover.
They know what computer you're on. They know what software you're running.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about this whole thing is now let's get it. We can tie this to AI. As AI becomes HAL from 2001, which I'm very excited about. I get next week actually because quantum computing is going to get it there. I can't wait. What's going to happen is I then have my HAL go out there. It could do anything. Because it'll search all the data. It could search this. It can search. I mean, and the Chinese do this now. That's what the whole problem with TikTok was. If you remember last year, everybody was like, you got to get rid of TikTok on your phone because they've got this, they've got that. And I'm thinking to myself, really? TikTok? What about Instagram, my Delta app, my American Airlines app, my Qatar app, my Emirates app? They all do it. Like, it doesn't matter. They
Yeah.
all do it.
And
My
did
bank.
you
I mean, so I'm like, who cares? At this point,
G-
if you don't want anybody to
GPS
know
on
what
your
you're
phone?
doing, go back to pen and paper.
Yeah, GPS on your phone. And everybody loves that. You know, they don't have to worry about having one in the car anymore. They've got
Yeah,
it all
so
on the
that's
phone.
the
They know
point. So
exactly where they
is
are.
it just the illusion of privacy that we're really
There's-
that people
right.
are really talking about? I mean,
Right.
I
we're
think,
still talking about it.
regardless of the
Yeah.
privacy, I think what people are totally unaware of is how much money is made out of their data. And you know,
Oh,
and
yeah. Selling data?
Yeah.
It's huge.
I've just said right from the get-go, you know, that we all of us as individuals should have the right to hold our own data and to sell our data, our own personal data. They want to know something about me, fine, they can pay for it.
But
But
that's
now, of
Web3,
course,
though. Isn't
now,
Web3?
of
That's
course,
part of what Web3
it,
was. They
Well,
wanted
that
you
was
to be
that
able
was
to
the other way.
control
part of the idea was that you own your data
your data.
container.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Yeah. But it's the other way
But
around
Web3 is
now.
a
I
that
actually
fuck.
have
would
to
change it
pay.
in. Go
I have
ahead.
to pay them.
Right.
I have to pay them for my data. I mean, you now got Facebook sent me this thing saying, Facebook, please. They sent me this thing saying, well, if you'd like to pay €6, then we won't send you targeted adverts anymore because we've been ticked on our fingers by the European Union. And so if you're okay to have targeted adverts, then you'll continue to have them. But if you don't want them, then you pay €6 a month, and then that way you won't get them. Well, what's that? That's just blackmail, isn't it?
But isn't that just a nice option to have because now you don't have to be
What?
exposed to ads?
Nah,
Yeah, but
that's bull. That's a profit center.
I should be saying to them the other way around.
Yeah.
You know,
That's right. That's right.
But aren't you using the
give me
software for free?
free. That doesn't exist, does it?
You
Freeware.
you
What's all that about?
Well, you're not
That
paying
doesn't
for it.
exist.
You're not paying to
paying
use
for
it, though.
Facebook,
Yeah.
right? You're using
So
it for
No.
free.
you use Facebook for free, and the way that you pay them back
Oh,
is
that's
to let
what
them
it
have
is.
your
Is with
data.
your
With your
data.
data.
But
Yeah,
Oh, right.
but before
Oh,
we
is
go
that
off
how
on
it
that
works?
but wait, before we
David.
go off on that tangent, if you remember when Web3 was going to come out, and I'm still waiting for it to show up sometime.
Still waiting.
And we had Gandalf of Web3 on a couple of times to talk about how wonderful it was, and I don't see Gandalf anymore. But the
Oh,
Web3
he's still
was
around. He's still around.
very cool, and it's supposed to be you can control your data. And I have a friend that's doing something in AI, and they're trying to put it on Web3, and they're like, but it's not here. And I'm like, it's supposed to be. It was supposed to be this big splash last year. We had all these people on our shows talking about it, and I'm kind of like, all right, where is it? Well, when you have $1 trillion industry, they're not going to let you just roll that out.
That's right.
This is going to be like you're just going to have to like do it. And go, and your new search engine, instead of being Google, is going to be whatever it's going to be, Web3 Google, and you're going to have to go there, and that's how you're going to do it.
One of the illusions, of course, is Web3 is that you opt out, but by opting out, it's also a profile.
Right.
What you opt out of is a profile, so they can profile you because you opt out.
Mm. Yeah,
So
there's
no
it's
freedom.
dangerous in political
It's a
situations.
Right.
It's a lose-lose situation, wherever.
Yeah.
And
You just can't use if you don't want to be profiled. You can't use digital technology at all.
Correct. That's why I said you go back to pen and paper.
Yeah.
That's it. You go back to pen and paper, and you go back to a flip phone that has nothing in it, and then that's that.
How about we increase the trust of the organizations that we work with? I mean, if we're going to have to be on social media,
what sort of drugs are you on, Michael?
Yeah, really. Are you watching David's bubbles?
Just showing the a possibility on the other side of optimism instead of the constant pessimism that we tend to have. But I mean, the reality is, if there were organizations that we could trust and people that we could trust, then it wouldn't be such an issue. But it is an issue because
the UN,
we trust in
European
this society.
Union, European Central Bank.
The problem is that the people,
UK government,
the people don't trust anybody anymore.
No, and that's a statistical reality. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nobody trusts the government. They don't trust the U.S. government. They don't trust Congress. They don't trust the Senate. To David's point, they don't trust the EU. They don't trust the British guy. No one trusts anybody because what people have shown, and now with the internet, as we're talking about it, has shown that all these people are not out for their constituents or their countrymen. They're out for themselves. And if you happen to benefit that by mistake, hey, good for you. And if you don't,
But
you're SOL. And that's
the
the big
burning question
problem.
is, Stephen, is
Yeah.
that can people trust you to get their 10-minute free advert on
10
the
second.
10
10
seconds? Can
second,
they
yeah.
trust you? Did I say 10 minutes? You
Yeah, you
can't trust
can't.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right,
can't trust
right.
you at all. So, but no, I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what it is. Is so when someone says we have to get somebody, I don't trust squat. You know, like when
Right.
I do a
But that's
deal,
that's
people,
a serious
it,
societal
yeah.
problem.
Well, no, I mean, I've been in the Swiss since I'm a kid because I just see how people are. So there's only a handful of people on this planet. If I shake their hand and we say we're done, I'm like, yep, I'm good. And I mean, and that's a handful. Everybody else, as we joke about, you got to lawyer up, and
Oh,
I
right,
don't want some
right.
organization saying, we're going to
Count
take
your
care of it. No, you're
fingers.
not. You're going to screw
Count
me on
your
my
fingers.
data and you're going to pay and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. So I don't trust the government to do it. I don't trust a nonprofit to do it. I trust no one to do it. I think if Web3 comes out and you can control your data, that's great. But I think in the age we live in the age we're going with AI and everything else, you have no more privacy. Full stop. Like people can find out about you. There's not a problem. This is George Orwell's 1984. It just took 50 years to get here. And once you realize that, you're either going to be okay with it or you're going to have to go live in the woods with pencil paper and put things in the post and go back to an old phone telephone, in a phone booth type of thing. But
No,
that's it.
you
If
can't
you're
put
not
things.
okay
You
with
can't
it,
put things in
you're
the
kind of
post.
SOL. The kids growing up though know no different. See,
They're
the
in
four
it,
of
yeah.
us know a difference. Right? We remember landlines. We remember
Yep.
phone booths. We remember all this. We remember putting things in the post. We remember that.
Yeah.
Kids
You
today,
remember?
they don't know. They
You
don't read
remember?
books anymore. They read iPad. They read
You remember
everything
going to different places without CCTV everywhere?
Yeah.
go
Wherever
different.
you
Yeah.
go, everywhere CCTV. Oh, it's for my security. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
No,
and then that goes
yeah.
right to that Fusus company that I mentioned 2 weeks
Yep.
ago. Bringing all these cameras into
It's-
one AI platform,
Yep.
even if they're
It's like
from different companies and different software.
it's
Yeah.
like Stephen says. We go to the post office and post a letter, or we go to a letterbox. There'll be a CCTV camera hanging somewhere. Somebody
Yeah.
will see you do it.
And if you don't like that, don't go to Singapore because on every corner there's 50
Yeah.
cameras. That's why it's one of the
UK
safest
exactly
nations
the
on the
same.
planet. Yeah, there's no more
UK,
freedom. Just let's be blunt. There's no more freedom. It is George Orwell's 1984.
Yeah.
It's not getting
Join us
better.
next
It will
week.
get worse.
Yeah, on that.
Join
On
us
that
next
happy
week. Where we're
note.
going to be singing and dancing all the way
Yeah.
through the show. Woohoo!
Oh yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to talk about
Right.
the distrust of
Yeah,
central banks and currencies and digital currency. Yeah, that's going to be a pleasant show.
That's going to be a fun show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Nothing,
You know
nothing
what?
to worry about
Perceived
there.
freedom.
Yep, we're gonna
No,
do
no.
Lost and Found next, but before we do that, everybody, because the next show will be the weekend after Thanksgiving. Thank you. Have a happy, healthy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it with your family. If you're in the United States, you people in Canada, you celebrated it in October because you celebrated it since 1954. I have no reason why you even
I
bother.
don't celebrate it at all.
Everybody in the rest of the world, enjoy your week. You don't have a holiday. I feel bad for you. Come to America if you want to have turkey. And then there's merch below and all the cool stuff, but we'll do Lost and Found. And then that's it. Next week we have our guest. And if you want a free ad for 10 seconds, reach out to us here on the Lost Dollar or reach us at 20F Entertainment or 20 Farts Making Noises, and we will put you on a show of your choice. And that'll be kind of cool to see what happens with that. See if anybody takes us up on our offer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to going to the US at some stage and getting stuffed. But there you go.
Welcome to this week's Lost and Found, uncovering dollar winners and losers, where we discuss dollars lost and dollars gained by various companies and projects.
The Lost Dollar. Here we go. Lost and Found. I'm going to pick on John because he already told me he doesn't have anything. So, John, did you find something? You got something? Okay. What do you got, John?
All right. So, the U.S. taxpayer, according to the Inspector General, is funding humanitarian aid to Afghanistan.
Okay.
Apparently, about 2.5 billion of that is just going straight into the pockets of the Taliban, and we don't know where the devil it's getting spent.
Nice.
They
So
need
is that a
the
lost
money.
or found
They need-
dollar? Because for the Taliban,
Yeah, it
it's a
depends
found
on who
The
it's.
dollar.
Taliban, it's a gain.
It's a
It's a gain.
game.
For the Taliban,
Yeah,
yeah, it's great.
it's a dollar gain there for them.
So
A
it's
few
a found
billion
dollar.
dollars
The
gained, yeah.
So wait, David says we're always too negative. So on the positive side, it's a found dollar. There
Yeah.
you go.
So
Oh my
There you
God.
Wow.
Oh, well, please,
Michael?
Well, go ahead, David.
no, I'm just thrilled to be able to finally, to push the right button.
Yeah, that's
Good old,
right.
Oh my God.
good old Taliban.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Taliban,
once
yeah.
so ChatGPT with GPT-4, obviously has taken the lead. Yeah, look at that, fireworks for that. Has
And I
taken
think
the world by
he said, I
storm.
think Stephen's head has exploded, but there you go.
But now GPT-5, they haven't announced the timeline, but it's on its way.
I'm
It's
getting
on
it.
its way. And we're all
I already
going to
got
get it.
4.
That's
I want
the thing.
5.
We're all going to get it. We've got to try it. We've got to
Yeah.
try it. So that's going to be a win as soon as GPT-5, which is definitely on
Yep.
its way, will take it, give them even more of a lead than they already have.
Cool. I'm excited. I love
Yeah.
4. 4 and I are very friendly.
4 is great.
Every morning I wake up, it says good morning. I say good morning and we start our day. So yeah. I just want to, I'm waiting. I hope 5 is going to be like Hal from 2001 because I want to go good morning and I want to name it Scooby Doo. And I want to go, good morning, Steve. And I want to have a conversation with Scooby every morning. That's my goal.
Well, there's a little bit of Cockney rhyming slang that says you haven't got a Scooby Doo, which means you haven't got a clue from Scooby Doo. So there you go. So you could
just so everybody's aware, I put up with this.
GPT-5,
I put up with this 5 days a week. Just so
Yeah.
just how it is. Just like
mine's from The Economist. I was reading The Economist
I was
yesterday.
surprised. Not the FT, not the FT, Stephen.
No, not this week. The Economist. So The Economist is saying what the biggest challenges are and the worst things could happen in 2024. The worst things in the world that can happen in 2024. Donald Trump poses the biggest danger to the world in 2024 is the headline in this article.
Wow.
And it goes to talk about civil liberties in America. It goes to talk about NATO. It talks about the Ukraine. It talks about tariffs. It talks about China. There's no positive anything except at the end of the article. It says, please go out and vote. So basically, the Economist thinks if Donald Trump becomes president in 2024, the world is literally coming to an end. And this article is not flattering at all. Like I was saying to myself, maybe there'll be something redeeming. There is no redeeming anything in this article. This article is definitely like, wow. And they had other articles about predictions for 2024 and whatnot, but this one, not is it just its own prediction, it's its own article within all the predictions. It's like, here, read this article. I was like, wow. So that was very interesting. They think Donald Trump poses the biggest danger to the world in 2024.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That's
the biggest threat out of everything.
Name.
It also sounds.
Is that a gain or a lose? That's a lose.
It sounds like they've been watching our show. I think by the sound of it,
they should advertise.
So optimistic. Yeah. So that's a founder, isn't it? For all the right,
for who?
All the fascists among us. So,
apparently, even China. They said the way that because Trump and China, I guess, aren't friendly, so to speak. So it's even a loss for China. The only positive was like Russia because he wants to be buddy with Putin. And I'm thinking to myself, wow. There's 206 countries on the planet, and they found one that maybe there's a positive for. I'm like, that's not good. So yeah, it was a very interesting article. There you go. So there you go. All right, David, tell us what cow is saving the world, or when we're colonizing whatever planet, and just go ahead.
I'm sort of intrigued about this, but I'm going to touch on something at the end of it for Thanksgiving, because evidently that seems to be important to a small group of people on an insignificant part of the planet. But the thing that caught my attention this week is that, and this is like super mega business. It's people are opening up 5-star hotels for chickens because
Wow!
Don't laugh, gentlemen. Don't laugh. It's very, very.
Big business.
It is big, it's mega business, because what happened during the lockdown, people couldn't get any eggs, so there's been this huge boom to get chickens. And this one particular lady, she's got this. She's based in the UK, but there are people all over the place. And I quote, "This is a 5-star hotel for chickens where we play classical music, and no cocks are allowed." Well, you can work that one out. And she has 8 of her own birds, and she launched it only as a female only hennel. Hennel, like kennel, but there you go. And she charges people, and she's fully booked, by the way. Trust me. Yeah, we'll have the link on the.
Where is she located?
She's in London, and she charges £3 a day per bird. And the other thing is, of course, that
that's
lay
about $5
eggs
US for everybody trying to do that.
Yeah, they lay eggs, of course, during their holiday period, and you have an option as to whether or not you would like to take those eggs with you when you go. So definitely for me, that is a found dollar without a shadow of a doubt.
Do you do LSD all day or just parts of the day? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, just parts of the day. And to finish up today, the thing that I thought would be the ultimate gift for the Thanksgiving. I found this on Amazon. It's not particularly a new product, but it's a toaster, right? which is a quirky kitchen gadget which allows you to upload a picture of yourself or any other picture of your loved one, your pet, or of Donald Trump, or of whoever, and it will take that poster into the toaster and it will toast it on a piece of bread.
Wow!
And that's available. Okay. That's available on Amazon for Thanksgiving. I think it's about $60 or something like that. And this thing's been knocking around since 2014. So yeah.
So I could have had my face on toast for many years now.
For 10 years, indeed. 9 years,
indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Wow.
Yeah. And being on this show is actually put my career on toast. But there you go. So,
I think it's boosting all over the place, David.
Something's boosting all over the place. Gentlemen, have a happy Thanksgiving, except for the guy in the UK or Amsterdam, where the hell you are. Go play with some dykes, stick your finger in them. Wear some wooden shoes. Anyway, everybody have a happy, healthy Thanksgiving. We will see you on the 25th with our guest talking about the central banks and digital currencies and how the world's going to end, something positive.
Very positive.
And then on the 27th, we have an interview with the dominatrix for you people that want to, I guess, go down that path. That should be interesting. But once again, thank you for watching. Love all of you. All the links are below for the merch, for our other channels and whatnot. And we'll see you next Saturday.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget,
cheers, everybody.
Don't forget 5-star hotels for chickens.
Welcome to this week's Lost and Found, uncovering dollar winners and losers, where we discuss